Yes, indeed. What's happening, world? B Marsh Boxing back at it. Breakdown and prediction. Unification fight we got coming up this weekend. Danny Jacobs, IBF champion of the world, versus Canelo Alvarez, WBC and WBA champion of the world, ring and lineal titles on deck. So this is a super fight in my opinion. Canelo Alvarez versus Danny Jacobs, unification. Now Canelo's about 5'8", 70-inch reach. Danny Jacobs about 5'11", 73-inch reach. So 3-inch difference, you know what I mean? Both guys, it just seems like it was just the other day. Dimitri Pirog was knocking out Danny Jacobs. It was just the other day. We seen Canelo making his American debut, you know what I mean? Fighting the likes of Jose Cotto, um, Carlos Baldemir, Alfonso Gomez, um, Ryan Rhodes, those kind of characters. Matthew Hatton. Canelo's been on our television screen now. It's been going since about 2010, same as Danny Jacobs, you know what I mean? 29, 2009, 2010, them times. So these two guys have paid their dues, and finally Danny Jacobs has realized his potential. He's finally become a world champion, and that was in his last fight versus Deverchenko, a guy he did put on the canvas in the first round. But in my opinion, he won the fight. I had him winning 7-5, but he struggled in the fight. The same thing goes for his previous fight when he fought the Selecki guy from Poland. Jacobs did struggle. Finally put the man Selecki on the canvas in the 12th. And he won that fight 7 rounds to 5, in my opinion, too. You know what I mean? Canelo Alvarez's last fight was with Bill Wennington, aka what's his real name? Rocky Felding. Ain't much to talk about in that particular fight. Rocky Felding came to lay down, just like a lot of British fighters have done recently when they come over here to the USA. Rocky Felding, Amir Khan, who else? Crolla. Anyways, this ain't about them. This is a breakdown and prediction. Now, Danny Jacobs has all the tools, skill set to defeat the man Canelo Alvarez. He's taller, got the longer reach. In my opinion, is a better boxer. Uses his jab more, and I think the jab is gonna have to be the key. He's gonna have to out jab the man, outbox him, and he's also gonna have to bang with Canelo. You know what I'm saying? And that's what Danny Jacobs was trying to do versus had to do versus Gennady Golovkin. But now this was more in the later rounds. In the first few rounds, Danny Jacobs was versus Triple G was just content of just sticking and moving, boxing and just staying out of range and not really mixing it up. He finally got caught in the fifth round, and I think that's what woke him up. He got dropped by Golovkin in the fifth round. That's what woke him up, and now he became more brave, stood in the pocket, and banged out with Golovkin at times. I thought he won the fight, but just a little too late. And at the end of the day, judges they gave it to the man. Um, they gave it to the man Golovkin. Danny Jacobs can't repeat the same cycle this time, man. He's got to go for the gusto. You know what I'm saying? Winning a decision versus Canelo. Winning a decision versus Canelo is like your Twitter timeline not having no tweets for 10 minutes. You know what I'm saying? That's like the world not having rain, or depends where you at. I'm gonna just say where I'm at. That's like where I'm at, not having rain for 10 years. You know what I'm saying? 10 years straight of drought. Your Twitter timeline not having a tweet for 10 minutes. That's impossible. You know what I'm saying? That's impossible. So Danny Jacobs is in that type of predicament where he's gonna have to go for the gusto, go for the knockout. Otherwise, him trying to outbox Canelo, he's gonna have to thoroughly embarrass him. And even if with that outboxing his ears off, he's not guaranteed. Look at Felix Sturm versus Oscar De La Hoya. That was a disgusting decision. You can't beat these guys unless you outbox them. You know what I mean? Look at Canelo Alvarez scorecards versus Floyd Mayweather, or even versus Gennady Golovkin, or look at the decision he got versus Austin Trout, which I did have him. I had it a draw, but the knockdown on Trout, to me, that's why Canelo won the fight. Could have gone either way, but to me, that was the difference. Um, Had a very close fight with Miguel Cotto. He got the decision there. Um, Erislandy Lara, I thought beat the man Canelo. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, Canelo does have a chin. Or maybe he ain't been caught by the right one. You know what I mean? And Triple G is a guy who's an accumulation puncher, knockout puncher. You could say the same for Danny Jacobs, but really and truly, we haven't seen Danny Jacobs knock anybody out in a while. Who's the last person he knocked out? I probably would say probably got Sergio Moore in the rematch. You know what I'm saying? Um, but the man Danny Jacobs, he's gonna have to also throw them body shots. He's gonna have to give Canelo a taste of his own medicine and some more. I think the jab, the body shots, and movement is going to be key for Danny Jacobs to get the W. You know what I mean? And he can do it. You know what I'm saying? He's going to have an authoritative jab, throw that 1-2, throw that right hand constantly. You know what I'm saying? Keep the man guessing. You check it. Stay out of range for Canoli body shots. Canelo also tends to overreach when he's throwing them right or left hooks to the body. Danny Jacobs got to be in position to parry, catch and shoot, and bang, throw that shot right back at him. You know what I'm saying? Catch him flush on his mug. You know what I mean? Danny Jacobs gonna have to be a mean SOB in this particular fight. Can't be Mr. Nice Guy. You know what I'm saying? He's already in a disadvantage. Canelo got this clause where Danny Jacobs can't come in more than 170 pounds on fight day, on fight night. You know what I mean? So he's already at a disadvantage, and Canelo Alvarez is the type of guy who pulls these type of stunts. You know what I mean? Fighting guys at catch weights, Canelo weights. Now he's asking Danny Jacobs not to come in higher than 170 pounds. So Danny Jacobs has to realize he's fighting against the odds. You know what I mean? And he's fighting in Las Vegas, a place where Canelo gets all kind of gift decisions. You know what I mean? So if he boxes, sticks and moves, stands in the pocket and bangs, he's gonna have to look at film like from Ray Leonard. He's gonna have to look at some Ray Leonard film. You know what I mean? See how Ray Leonard beat guys like Marvin Hagler. Although I thought Hagler won the fight, but the flurries, standing in the pocket at times with the man Marvin Hagler, the flurries, shoe shine punches. He's got to make it just look spectacular out there, man. He's got to catch the judge's attention. Harder shots. He's going to win the jab category. Can he win the power shot category? That's the key. That's the key because Canelo Alvarez don't really throw the jab. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't throw the jab. You know what I mean? So the man Danny Jacobs gonna have to make this guy commit with those power shots, and he's gonna have to catch him over the top with right hand crosses, left hooks, body shots, and he's gonna be have to sidestep and stay the fuck up out of dodge. I question Danny Jacobs' balance a little bit, especially in the last fight versus Derevchenko. There were times where Danny Jacobs was getting caught because his balance wasn't up to par. You know what I mean? And he was on the ropes, being with Derevchenko applying pressure. So that's a sign of concern for me with Danny Jacobs as far as his balance. You know what I'm saying? Stamina, I'll give the edge to Danny Jacobs over Canelo. Maybe he can try to take him into the later rounds and try to drown him in the later rounds. You know, it's going to be a difficult uphill uphill battle for the man Danny Jacobs. You know what I mean? Canelo Alvarez keys to victory. He's obviously the counterpuncher. Got superb upper body movement. The feet are slow. You know what I'm saying? And Danny Jacobs got to take advantage that Canelo Alvarez can't punch really on the move. He has to have his feet planted. You know what I'm saying? And he's not really going to be, if when he's bouncing on his toes like he tried to do in the first fight versus Golovkin, he's more on his movement. And all it did was lead him up to the ropes where Triple G cut off the ring and caught up to him, and they went out and banged. And Canelo's looking for the counterpunch every time off the ropes. You know what I'm saying? So Danny Jacobs can't put himself in them positions, you know what I mean? Where Canelo Alvarez is planting his feet and throwing the mean shots. You know what I mean? He's gonna have to keep a lot of movement to make the man have to reset. World McCray, what's going on? He says, "Hey fam, long time no see. What's going on with you, World McCray? Good looks for coming through, B. Appreciate that." Um, so the man Danny Jacobs is gonna have to be on his stick and move. He's gonna have to bang. Um, he's probably gonna have to try and steal rounds. You know what I mean? Gonna have to make this fight difficult as possible for the judges to try and rob him. You know what I mean? But ultimately, he also has to go for the KO. You know what I'm saying? I think Canelo Alvarez, if he wins the power shots game, the power shot advantage on the CompuBox, then it's a wrap. Danny Jacobs has no chance of winning this fight. You know what I mean? So this particular fight, my prediction, I think it's gonna be a controversial fight in my opinion. I could see a draw. A draw is very plausible. Or a split or majority decision for either guy. But knowing the politics of the game, Las Vegas, Andalay Bay is going to be ringside judging again. I have no other choice but to give this fight to Canelo. I'm rooting for the man Danny Jacobs, no question about it. But I have to give this fight the edge to the man Canelo Alvarez. But if the man Danny Jacobs, if he comes in to bang and stick and move and just outbox the guy with the jab and reach, oh man, I think that the man could really frustrate the man. You know what I'm saying? The way Eris Landy Lara did, you know what I mean? And be aware that the man Canelo is trying to set traps. You know what I'm saying? To throw that Canelo loves to throw either a right cross left hook to the body or or a body shot with a left hook left to the head, you know what I'm saying? The man Danny Jacobs gonna have to keep that right hand glued to his side of his head like a telephone, and quick enough to also come down and protect his rib cage often while he's pumping that jab, you know what I'm saying? And while Canelo is putting it, punching a shot and coming back with his hands back to his high guard, the man Danny Jacobs got to throw them power shots and combinations. That's the only way I think he can win this fight. What's good, Anthony Purvis? He's in the chat. He says, "What's good, B Marsh? I've been waiting on your breakdown, man, because you're gonna keep it a bean. I'm pulling for Danny, but I got Canelo by decisions." World McCray says Jacobs can't start slow. Yeah, I agree with both of y'all, man. Definitely can't start slow, man. He's gotta have to be the authoritative ring general in that fight. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna have to dictate the pace of the fight. You know what I mean? Um, Danny Jacobs can crack. You know what I'm saying? But Danny Jacobs, he can't be in there fighting scared. You know what I'm saying? He can't be doing that. You know what I mean? And Danny Jacobs, when he hurts you, he definitely goes in for the kill. Ask Peter Quillen. So we shall see, man. But I have to edge the man Canelo with the decision. Along the journey, what's going on along the journey? So this is going to be a great fight. I'm proud of Canelo for stepping up. Actually, yeah, let's congratulate both men for putting up their world titles on the line in a unification. Last time we've had a unification at middleweight, I believe was IBF versus WBA, David Lemieux versus Gennady Golovkin. You know what I mean? Maybe 2014, 2015. I'd say 2015. So it's about that time. Along the journey, says Canelo counterpunching is the key. Yes, it is. That's his bread and butter. You know what I mean? But the man Danny Jacobs, in my opinion, should use his length and reach to stay out of the way of counter shots. You know what I mean? Can't stand in the pocket for too long with the guy. You know what I mean? But he has to stay in the pocket enough to bang and have the pretty shots. You know what I mean? That eye catching shots, shoe shine shots, combinations. He's just gonna have to, and also be the volume puncher. Maybe even throwing like 100 rounds per fight. He's gonna have to outwork the man. You know what I mean? And the first fight, that's my opinion. I had the first fight, Canelo versus Triple G, a draw. Canelo in the later rounds kept his hands in his pocket. You know what I mean? And even in the early rounds when he was trying to be a boxer using his feet. You know what I mean? Shit look crazy. World McCray says, who has the other belt? Charlo? No, the other belt belongs to the WBO belt is currently held by Demetrius Andrade. Along the way, says Danny Jacobs is no underdog. Actually, he is. He's definitely underdog. 3-1, close to 4-1. Anthony Purvis says Andrade. Fact says World McCray. Yes, indeed. So, B Marsh Boxing, leave your thoughts and comments. Thanks for everybody coming through. World McCray, Anthony Purvis, along the journey. Thanks a lot for participating. Gotta have to edge this fight to Danny Canelo, but Danny Jacobs, I do believe, can win this fight, and he's gonna have to employ a lot of boxing skill set, which I do believe he has more than Canelo. You know what I mean? I do believe he has a better skill set than Canelo. But I do believe that the man Canelo has more experience, especially in big fights. You know what I mean? He's been doing big fights for a very long time now. B Marsh Boxing, leave your thoughts and comments, and I'm out of here. Peace. Will McCray says, I need to see more undisputed fights. Undisputed, good luck with that. Unifications, definitely like to see more unifications. But undisputed, shit, first we gotta get unifications. You know what I mean? Which we got 17 divisions, and fellas still, we should be having unifications, at least 8 unifications a year. So far this year, we've only had one. We were supposed to have two last weekend. What was it at 122 Super Bantamweight? T.J. Doheny and Danny Roman, and also we were supposed, which we did have. We unified belts, WBA and IBF by Danny Roman and Zulani Tete versus Donaire, but Zulani Tete pulled out with the injury in the bantamweight division. So that was going to be a unification. So that would have been the two. So this weekend will be three. But overall, we need more undisputed and unification fights. I agree with you. But first, let's